Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Bessie. I'm from Shelltastic Crafts. I do have a website on Etsy. I do sell some of my products, but basically I'd like to come in and, because I'm self-taught with all of this resin, I decided that I wanted to give back by teaching some of you what I do with my resin and how to do things and tips and tricks. So basically today I want to pour with you some molds that I have from Into Resin, beautiful flower mold, and it stands up. This is a large heart tray. This is actually a unicorn I got off of Amazon, and this is a frog with his fingers going into a heart. So basically what I want to do is I want to pour this, because it's a diamond faceted mold, I want to pour this in something more translucent because this will give it a real shine. This one I'm going to color with some chrome powders, and I'll show you how I do that. And this will be just a straight pour, and this will be a straight pour. I might make that, maybe I'll do pink and purple. And this one I will do green. So let me choose some colors and I'll be right back. Hi again, I'm back. I actually changed my mind for this tray, and I want to pour it in a pigment powder. So I rarely use this kind of color, but it's kind of an apricot color, and I want to try it out. It's from Resin, and it's pearlescent powder pigment. So I'm going to do the tray with that. I'm going to do the unicorn in silver lilac and purple zircon. And I chose these colors for the actual flower. So brown for the pot, yellow for the center, pink for the flower, green for the stem, and I think I'm going to add a little gold chrome powder for just that area. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip everything over, because while I'm putting my powders in there, the colors could go flying, and I don't want anything to have powder that doesn't belong. Okay, so I have a few brushes. I'm thinking for Egyptian bronze for the actual pot as opposed to the brown. So I'm going to change that. That's also by Diane Kapoor's, and it looks like a very beautiful color. All right, so let's get started. I'll show you how I do that. Get 4 brushes that are pretty clean, one for each color. And basically my largest parts that I'm going to do are the actual flower and the actual pot. So basically what touches your silicone first is what you're going to see, and if any remaining powder gets on top of it while you want to get it out, it's not going to be what you see on the actual finished flower. So I'm going to start at the bottom with the bronze. This actually looks like a gorgeous color. I haven't even opened it yet. That is stunning. Look at that color. So basically I'm going to take my brush and go into the area here and paint my entire pot in bronze. I want to try to use a little at a time, because the more you use, the more it's just going to fly all over the place. So start with a small amount first, and this way hopefully you'll won't get it in your other areas, and there's less cleaning to do. But basically what you do is you just take some alcohol with a cotton swab, and I'll show you that in a minute. And if you do get it in areas that you don't want, you just clean it off with the cotton swab with alcohol. So basically, for all those that are listening and watching, I actually got into resin a little less than a year ago. I really enjoy it. How it actually started is that I'm an avid sheller. I go to Florida quite a bit, central western side of Florida. And even though I've been going down there for 28 years, I never really was a sheller until about 2 years ago. Now I go onto the beaches in Florida, and obviously ethical shelling, and I pick up empty shells and I just collect them. I love the beauty of them. I clean them up, I put them in jars, I display them. And then I decided one day that I can make crafts with them. So I started putting wood pieces, making crafts. And then I decided to incorporate my crafts, my shells, into resin. And I made a first set of coasters I made was not very successful, with this beautiful color. It's Rose by Diane Kapoor's. So I started making shell art, some shadow boxes, some frames, some actual wood boards with some shells that I actually personally collected. And then, like I said, I thought about putting them in posters, making beach themes, etc. So I started with resin, completely self-taught. So again, my first pieces were not meant to be, so to say, but I kept trying and trying and trying and trying, and finally I was able to do coasters. I progressed to trying to make 3D blooms, ocean themes, and by watching enough videos and following directions, I learned how to master a 3D bloom technique as well as ocean posters, and now I just like to make both shell crafts as well as resin crafts. If you like this type of item, I have an Etsy store under the name Shelltastic Crafts, and I'm also on Instagram and Facebook. So basically I'm covering every part of the flower petals. And you don't want to miss spots, because then you'll see some blank spots. So I'm trying to go up and around into all the little crevices all the way up to the top. And as I'm noticing spots that I miss, I'm going back. Now from the last time I poured this, I actually had some resin left over in here, and I had to take a cotton swab and alcohol and clean it out thoroughly before I did it again. It's the only part of this. It's a little time consuming, but again, the flower just comes out so much more beautiful when you have colors on it like that. Now this time I'm using mica powders, or an even brighter effect, you can also use chrome powders, which I can pour it next time in chrome powders so that you can see how it comes out and the difference. Because the chrome powders in these facets definitely show more. The flower. Now basically I'm going to switch to a brush for my green, but in the meantime, I noticed that I got some of the pink inside the center. Don't want that to be there, and what I'm going to do is make the center yellow. And this color is Sunbathe by Diane Kapoor's. I'm just going to take a little bit and I'm going to go around the center. So like I said, if this gets onto the pink, I'm not that concerned because the pink is what you're going to see underneath, even if yellow powder gets on top of it. But you do want to shake it out because if you don't, there'll be a lot of powder just going to the back of your mold when you fill it, and it's just going to be sitting there. So that's yellow. Mix that one up. And basically now, I just want to do the green for my stem, and I picked Wild Ivy by Diane Kapoor's. Again, stunning, beautiful color. Just push up in there, just a little bit for that stem. And go all the way up the sides. Make sure you get the sides. Over the garbage, and I want to blow into it to try to get any powder that is left on there off. Basically, that's it. Once you're done, I'll put those on the side. Measured this, and it seems like it holds about 12 ounces. This holds about 2.5. This holds 3, and this holds 4. So I'm going to mix 12, 16, 19, 22. I'll probably make an extra ounce or two. I'm going to mix 24 ounces of resin. I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back. I mixed up actually a few extra ounces. I mixed up 26 ounces. So basically I'm going to pour it into smaller cups. I need 12 for this, so I'm going to do 6 and 6. I'm going to do pink and purple for that one, and the green. Ounces in there. Perfect. these two for the tray. I'm going to split up another cup for the granny. Like that. So I'm going to spill that a little. There. I need 3 left for that. So that's what I've got. I'm not going to put that through the bubble machine because you won't see the bubbles on the back of that. So basically, I'm going to put some this beautiful purple. Silver lilac, although it looks more of a pink to me. Let's see how it turns out in resin. I'm going to open this one. So that might give it purple tones, which kind of might look nice in here. Gosh. Beautiful. To me, that looks more of a pink. But let's see what happens when it goes into the resin. Look at that beautiful apricot color. Wow, that is amazing. The last color is the green. And I think I chose the wild ivy one. Might be a little dark, but that one will do for the frog. Love that color. So beautiful. It looks like it's got the gold hints to it. Another one I'm going to leave is clear. That is such a beautiful color. Oh my gosh. I love it, this color. It makes it really, really good because you do not want it to have unmixed mica powder in there. So make sure you get all the sides. Sometimes you'll see the mica powder floating to the top. And if that's the case, you need to mix it more. And there it is. Look at it. It's caked onto the stick. So you don't want that. And that side off. another one. Basically, this is just the regular 1-to-1 epoxy by Resin. And put part A and part B in, half of each, and then you mix it for 4 minutes. And then I mix up my colors into the resin before I take the bubbles out, so it will be as bubble free as possible, because when you're mixing, you're incorporating bubbles into your resin. This is the element. Okay. Is also a stunning, stunning color. I'm just going to do a dirty pour in that unicorn. Might just be creating a new color, or hopefully it'll stay suspended. Maybe I'll put glue in it so it'll stay separated. Clear Elmer's glue, the washable glue, will make it stay suspended and not merge so much. Like I said, it looks like a pinkish purplish hue in here, so I'm really liking these colors together. Mixing. I let it stand for a minute, and the reason being, if you do have any unmixed mica, if you notice in the top of there is some. So that's when I go and stir it even more. Make sure that you get it all mixed in. Another way of doing it, which I totally forgot about, was to actually dissolve your mica powders in a little bit of alcohol before. I should have done that today, but I obviously forgot. And it is what it is now. So, beautiful alcohol color, my goodness. Gorgeous. Again, some floating mica powder on the top. You want to make sure it's all dissolved. And the green. Love this color as well. The sides of your cup all the way around. Make sure, like I said, that it is absolutely mixed in. Okay. I'm going to put this through my bubble remover for 10 minutes, and I will be right back. Hi again. So I put in the other colors through my bubble machine, but I did not have room to put all of it. So since I'm not worried about bubbles in the flour, I'm pour that first. Oops. Well, let's see. A little. Happens when you pour your powders and your molds are standing up. So I've gotten some apricot in there. I need to get it out. So I'm just taking a baby wipe, and it looks like I got all of it. This hair. So I do have a curing machine by Resiners, so I managed to get everything to fit. I'm going to put this in there. So basically what I'm going to do first, can't spritz that one with alcohol because it's got all the powders in there. So basically I'm just going to pour slowly to try not to incorporate bubbles. Make sure it goes through that stem and down into the bottom. Now the more you dome this, the less you'll have to trim later. So I'm trying to get it domed without over pouring it. Looks like that's good. Spritz that one with alcohol. I have my grain ready to go. So I'm going to spritz down into that frog, and I'm going to slowly pour in. So what I do about halfway up is I'm going to move it around. I mean, it has a few places bubbles could probably get trapped, but I want to kind of squeeze it and get it all over so that when I pour the rest in, it's kind of all coated. This way, there's a less likely chance of getting as many bubbles. I do see a few bubbles down in there. Spritz it. And now, pop those bubbles. And then, I have it level here. And pour it to the top. That is perfect. Just knocking things over everywhere. Not my mess. Try to clean up my mess as I go. See what happens. So we do have a little bit left in here. I'll wait till the end and see. We have a tiny, tiny bit left of the green. Not even enough to make a lot of width. Let's see what we get out of the other colors. Now I did put blue in the pink and purple because I'd like it to be marbled, and that's the best way I know of keeping the colors from merging together more than they typically would, and it might keep it separated better. So this way I can have a true marbling of like the pink/purple and the purple. Alright, I'll come right back as soon as my bubble machine is done. Okay guys, I'm back again. Basically everything came out of the bubble machine. I actually need some butterflies of the colors I use so I can actually glue them to the jars and bottles. And here we go. We're going to pour the big one first. Spray it with alcohol. basically, while it's half full, I like to run my stick around and around, make sure that any bubbles that are hiding underneath have gotten dislodged. Notice there are a few that are coming to the surface. Well, this helps it. Goodness, this color is stunning. And that, my friends, took all of it. That, I wished I had some of that color left so we can make something else with it. It is stunning. Spray that one. Now basically I'm going to spray right down into there. And since I did suspend this with glue, it should stay. So we'll see if we make a whole new color or whether this is going to stay separated. So basically I'm going to pour some of the purple in. Remember, whatever goes on the silicone first is what you're going to see. So after that, it's basically whatever you see down the middle is not going to matter. Let's hope I did a good enough job marbling that. Wow. Oh, wow. That is beautiful. I like the colors together. Oh no! Oh no! Not that you're going to see it, but I dripped a little bit of purple in there. There you go. Oh, good. Get that out in time. Okay, so basically I have some clear left, I have some of the pink, and I have some of the purple. So I will find something to put it in, and I'll be right back. Hey guys, I'm back. So basically, I forgot that I had clear left over as well, and I intended on using the apricot, but instead I used the sunbathe. But still, it's going to be gorgeous because I mixed the bronze. And I'd like to see what both these colors produce together if I marble them. I'm going to put way too much mica powder in here. Not good. Such a little amount, and wipe this off. Go off with a paper towel first. This as well, because I see some unmixed in there as well. And this is getting thick. This one already has glue in it from before, and what I thought about is maybe I had started some vases earlier and maybe kind of combining them. So Actually, yes, I'm going to put the pink into the purple, so like that. Give it a little swish around. See what comes out. As it's coming out very slow. Oh, got the glues in here. Ugh. It wasn't a necessity to keep the colors separate. I'm not that crazy about the glue, but it works. Make the matching one. I forgot to spritz it. This is getting really thick. My goodness. Okay. So I'm going to try to see what happens if I pour the rest of this in here and see if we have enough of this little flower that I pulled out. This little flower right here. Spray it. Let's get this there. Like I said, there's glue in here, so if I don't make it a point to mix it really together, it probably will stay apart. I hope I have enough for this thing. Okay. Oh yeah. Try to go down in there so I can get into all of the leaves. And top it out. See the bubbles coming out on top. Oh, they're right there. That's what happens when it gets thick. Yikes. Okay, let's try this one. I'm going to try to see what will happen if I pour them in. Put some of the orange and the brown, or bronze I should say. Yikes, looks like I'll overfill that one. I hope it settles. This again. That looks perfect. Definitely overpour that one. I'll end up fixing that later. Okay, so let me get these. Let's get this. Oh, I think I did this one. No, I did not. Yes. Didn't happen as planned. Okay, we'll see if I can even use those. I'm gonna spray this, spray that, spray that, spray that, spray that. Actually, a little bit I do have left. I can. Oh God, you guys, this is so thick right now. My goodness. Oh, doing that one. Done with that one. That is perfect. Okay, so let's see what we can do. Where is my pendant mold? Oh, there it is. Anything out of these? Let's see what we can do here. I think I have quite a few for pendants. These should be a gorgeous color together. See how they marble. Oops. This over here so you guys can see. It's this thick. It is tough. God, I'm making an absolute mess. Mess, mess, and mess. Now let's put a little more yellow in there. See if we can get both of those colors out. Even this bronze is just stunning by itself. Even if the yellow isn't in there. Just gorgeous. I don't care right now if I'm making a mess. I just want to get these in here. Actually, this is probably actually it may not be. Totally the wrong tool. That's the deal. We can make an absolute mess. This looks like a chaotic mess. But once you take them out, sand them down, and fix them, you can never tell the difference. Whoa, whoa, overpouring, overpouring. Disaster. That is priceless. Let's try to get this spot out of there. Successes, failures, you're coming along on this ride with me. So, there we go. All right. Disaster. Disaster. that's it for me, guys. I will see you when it's time to demold this horrific mess and see what we got. All right, I will see you guys later on demold. Hi again. Well, it is the next day. Everything is ready to be demolded. Remember the pendants I did? I kind of cleaned off the end because it was kind of disastrous yesterday after I was pouring this and it was so thick. So anyway, let's see how it turned out. I made my tiny little butterflies of the colors and I'm going to glue onto my bottles. I'm going to ruin that one because some brown dripped into that one, so I don't know. Okay, those. That can go to the side. Let's start with the unicorn. See what happened with that one. Ooh, looks like I got both colors in there. Using the glue made a big difference. Let me get this out. Okay, looks like I didn't squeeze enough, and the little horn has a bubble in it. Aside from that, this is where I'm going to trim. And actually, only see bubbles on the trim part. Very, very few other ones, but I do have to trim this. But otherwise, I do like how the color came out with that pinkish purple and then the purple elemental. That came out pretty. Okay, let's see the little rose. Oh, that came out stunning. Look at that beautiful rose. That has more of the pink than the purple, but I do love the color. Wow. Okay. Let's try the frog. I should say turtle. Let me say frog. Where's it? Turtle. There we go. Oh my goodness, how cute is this? And I really love the color I picked. Just shading the eyes, shading the little heart there. Oh my God, this came out absolutely gorgeous. Gorgeous. Okay, let's see these little pendants. It came out with the apricot color and the brown. I think that looks really, really nice together. Oh, well, it's not brown, it's bronze, so it gives it more of a shine, but that one looks a little more apricot in there. And honestly, when you're dressing up and wearing like cream colors, a color like this goes beautiful with a beige or winter white or cream color. These are gorgeous. Barely have any trimming to do on those. And like I said, it looked like a disaster yesterday, but look how it comes out in the end. I did pour it when it was really, really thick and it got all around my mold, but easy cleanup afterwards. I could just put some flat back bales on there. Let's look at the vases. See how they came out. Ooh, did over pour a little bit. Wow, but you do get the bronze and the orange, apricot color in there. And let's see the back one to that. Wow, both colors merged in there together. That looks beautiful. And just kind of put it together and put some flowers in it. This one has some of the pink in there too, but mostly the purple overtook it. Let's see how the front of that one came out. Again, more of the purple. We kind of lost the pink in there. But again, we just trim it out a little bit. Like that, put some flowers in it. Oh, I like the one from the pink and the purple that I marbled on the other video. And that one, actually, I dripped a little bit of the other purple in there by accident, but you can't really see it from the front. So, that looks good. And the backs. Whoops. Oh, they look really nice. Wow. Can't wait to get some flowers in there and glue them together, and they'll look gorgeous. In there. All right. Let's get out an actual flower. Now the stem is where you really have to watch out. If this is not cooled down all the way, you could definitely break that stem. But this is totally cooled down. That came out beautiful. Remember, I used the mica powders in there. This is the bronze. This is a wild ivy. I used the sunbathe for the center, Diane Kapoor's, and then rose for the flower. And basically this I'll just clip off with a cuticle clipper. And it stands up right there. So you could just display it. And last but not least, a beautiful apricot tray. I'm excited to see this one. Wow. Let's see the suction on this one. Not too bad. Wow. Oh my goodness. Look at those facets. That is stunning, and I really, really love the color. Oh my goodness. So basically it's just a tray. You can use it for any trinkets you have, or, I mean, it is on the larger side. It just, you could use it for anything. It's just beautiful. And the back came out gorgeous. Just have to trim a little bit on the sides here. And it is just gorgeous. Anyway, okay, I'm going to finish these off. And then I will see you later. Bye. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm coming back to finish everything off. And I'm going to show you what I've used and what tools I used. So basically, I also have these pendants and little ducks that I did from a pour, and I'm going to show you. So basically, what I'm doing, I've kind of already used my deburring tool. I love this thing. And what I do is I go around the edges in order to get it to be, you know, it's kind of rough and it could scratch you. So you want to get rid of this. I do have a sander, but at this point, I'm not sure if I need it. I just go around with my deburring tool. And if not, I'm going to take, actually, I'm going to take a nail file and go right around the edges until I feel that that's smooth. If you notice, there is a texture around here, so it kind of has that. You don't want to file them all off because that's part of the look of the side. So you just want to get it to a smooth area where it's not going to scratch you or the person that's using it. So I kind of go all the way down around to the other edge. Now that I feel it's smooth, what I do is wipe it off. And I do use this, it's called Jewfish Epoxy and Resin Polishing Kit. This is the one I bought. So far, I've liked the results. I use the gloss paste. And what I do is I just take a tissue, rub it around, and then go around the corners. And what it does is, if you notice, you see the white film over here. This restores it just back to the same color that your piece is meant to be. and then just wipe off any excess. And we're ready to begin that. Okay, and basically I did it with all of my little vases. I already used the deburring tool. Whoops, dropped the vase. Also the little unicorn, the little frog. You notice I used the deburring tool. It's totally smooth on the edges, and basically it's just restoring it to that same color. Now these vases, I used the deburring tool as well. I kind of like the way this one came out with the little, I don't know if that's blue or pink that I have left over. I'm going to glue those together. This one I poured from another color set that I was using, and I kind of like the way that it came out too. I a little bit over poured it, but I kind of like that you can't see the stems that I'm going to put in the flowers. I also did my flower. And that basically is about all I'm going to do to that, because it's just decorative and it's going to stand up on its own on a table like that. Okay, now the issue that I had with this was that I did get a few bubbles in here. I got a few bubbles in the ears. I got a few bubbles underneath here, and I got a few bubbles on the actual unicorn horn itself. So what I did is I have the Let's Resin UV resin kit for bonding, and it comes with this UV light, which you can recharge, doesn't take batteries. And basically what I've done is I use the bonding resin. And for example, maybe I want to build this up, put a little dot on there. But the only problem with the bonding is that you can actually match it to the same color, but you'd have to remix the color of the micas that you used. And basically at this point I kind of swirled them, so it's not going to be as easy to match it. This looks a little bit clear, but it makes it look much better. I mean, you could hardly notice. But maybe if I want to get another drop to make this a little bit taller, what I do is just place a drop on top to fix it. And I put my UV lamp under it for about 10 to 20 seconds. This bonds a lot faster than UV resin or any other type. You just literally put the drop on, put it close with this light, and basically within about 10 to 15 seconds, it's dry. So, well, that's not enough time. So basically that's done. So I've lifted up the unicorn horn kind of to almost where I want it. So basically I can go and maybe use some markers if I want to go highlight some of the hair, maybe silver, which would look good with this color. This is also the rose I did. I used that on the bottom as well. And the frog, I can paint him up and make him really cute. So basically also with this tray, it's pretty much done the way it is. I thought about maybe putting rhinestones on the end, but I thought maybe it would take away from the actual tray. So I think it's just beautiful as it is. So I'm going to decide to just leave this as is, because it's just a stunning color, stunning facets. It's very shiny, and it's a decent size. I mean, if you see in the palm of my hand, this is quite a big trinket tray. So I've decided, like I said, to keep that on the side. Basically what I'm going to do for a second here is I'm going to take my B7000 This is the glue I use, a craft glue that I use. And boy, this gets stuck if you don't wipe off the nozzle. So basically I take that off. I try to clean whatever I can from the nozzle, because this stuff just leaks out of the top until you close it. So that's what I want. I want to just take that off the nozzle. Okay, and basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a layer of glue on the sides of that. And I'm going to take the top and glue it together. Okay, wiping off any of the side. The glue will sometimes just show up on the sides, so just kind of wipe it off and you're good to go. And while that's drying, I'll do the other two. Actually, I think I did this one, and I'm going to do this one. Close this up when you're not using it, because again, it just will leak. And I'll put that right on top of, there you go. And again, if you see any glue on the sides, just wipe it off until it dries. Big clump over there. Get it as even as possible. Give them a few minutes to dry. And basically, I also have these pendants I made. These are so tiny, I'm not even sure what they're supposed to be used for. So when I got this mold, I bought it accidentally from Into Resin molds. I don't know, maybe I could fit a little earring post on the back of that and make them into earrings. But basically these, I would just hold firmly, these are pretty domed, but they just feel a little bit sharp on the ends. So basically I'll just take and there's perfect. So I will take just another tissue and I will do that to the back of all of them. Now a couple of these ducks came out really, really cute, like that one, but it does have a hole on the beak. So basically this was the first time I had pouring this mold. So unfortunately the beaks did not come out perfectly, and I'll know next time to just basically put my a dotting tool down into that beak, because the rest of it came out really good. And these could be embellishments for another project you might want to do, but so far in this set I don't have really one that has a beak that's perfect. So I'm going to pour it again and I'm going to see what I can do with that. These were just samples of the colors that I made for my pouches. And again, this yellow color was really beautiful. I think it's called Sunbathe by, or Sunny by Diane Kapoor's. And basically, I would just put a flat back bail on this and make it into a pendant. Same with all of these. This was the one of the octopus colors, and basically I had put crushed crystal in it. So I also use a cuticle nipper if I have these hard little pieces, and I just snap them off. So that can make it round enough or perfect enough, and then you just, like I said, with your nail file at a sideways angle, so you don't scratch the whole back of it. You just go like this until you feel it totally smooth. on all the areas. And like I said, I'll put flat back bales on these and make them into beautiful pendants. This one marbled beautifully with the orange and the bronze. Yellow and the bronze. I think they came out beautiful. Okay. Like I said, these are really, really tiny. So I'm kind of trying to figure out what I can do with that. Anyway, I'm going to finish all of these. I'll put flat back bales on them. I'm going to show you, I'm going to pick out some flowers so that I can put in the vases. And I think I'm going to use some of my metallic markers. Probably a silver for this and a silver for this. And basically what I can do is highlight the tips of this because it's already marbled in 2 colors. So I think that if I take a marker to it, it'll just highlight some of those edges and it'll come out really cute. This one's a bigger tip. So if I highlight them, it'll just bring out some of the edges of that rose. Notice it's already starting to give it just a little bit of a highlight there. And if you get extra, just take a cotton swab with some alcohol and you can clean it right off. And do this as soon as you possibly can because once this dries, I'm not saying it won't totally come off, but it might be just that much more difficult to get it off. So whenever you see you kind of slip with the marker or it gets somewhere you don't want it to be, like right now, if I rub it like this, it rubs it right off. Couple more leaves. I'm trying not to touch where I already just went. And one more. And that's that. Okay. Give me a minute to get some flat back bales and some flowers for the vases, and I will be back in a minute. Hi guys. So basically I did try one of my smaller backs for the earrings, and they do fit perfectly with these. So I think I can make 3 sets of earrings for, I have 4 pendants, but one of them will just be without earrings. But I can do this and just center it and just kind of leave it there to dry. I'm going to get a few of these out. Okay, because these are tiny, very tiny, very hard to do, not impossible. And probably shouldn't be wearing gloves doing this, but the glue is like annoying me on my hands. Okay, you can just lay them upside down. Actually, I'm taking these off. Okay, so next one, I put a little dot on the back, take the earring,
Oops. All right, there. That's it. Actually, I want to put a little more. Actually, guys, I think I'm going to put you in a little bit of a fast forward, only because this is going to take me a little time, and I'm sure you don't need it to be on regular speed. So I'll put you in a fast forward. So basically, guys, that's it. I'm pretty much finished. I love the way this came out. I love the colors. And like I said, it's just beautiful. I didn't do much to it. I just sanded it on the back. And these vases just came out beautiful. I got brand new sets of flowers, so I mixed in different colors with them. And unfortunately, I don't have sets of the same colors, but that's okay. These came out beautiful, but I do suggest if you do this, I always keep an eye on my flat back bales because sometimes with the wet glue, they could shift. So before they get completely dry, I would always check in on them and make sure these bales are absolutely in the right place. You don't want them drying incorrectly and then it'll just ruin the entire pendant. So I'm adjusting these right now. The earrings are drying. They look great. So 3 out of the 4 necklaces, which are the round ones as opposed to the square, I'm going to put them together with the 3 round necklaces. And these, like I said, just came out gorgeous. I love the bronze color mixed in with just a hint of the yellow. And I do believe I used Sunny. Sunny is the color from Dianca Pours in this pour. So it wasn't the Sunbathe, it was the Sunny, the bright yellow. So basically all I did to my frog is put eyes, which I am going to draw the black when it's the black slits when it's finished drying. I put 3 coats of white on there. I made it red and I just painted the back of his shell with gold metallic marker. I showed you I did the rose. Basically, it's just gorgeous. I'm going to put a magnet on the back of that right now, actually. I'm going to put a magnet and let that dry. That can go on the refrigerator. Basically, I just put a little bit of glue right around the center. And of course, it's stuck. There it is. Nice piece of glue. And I center my magnet there. And like I said, these can shift. I do leave them upside down, but sometimes they slide, they shift. So like I said, before they're about halfway dry, you still have time to move them. So I would just constantly check these and make sure they're in the right position, as in this one is a little bit tilted. So I'm going to straighten it out, make it look perfect. Like I said, the earrings will go with those. The horse, I didn't do much. I just used some gilding paint in the silver color, and I just highlighted some of those swirls in the hair and the unicorn tip and up front. And that's about it. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe and like. And if you think it's worth sharing, please share with your friends. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you for joining me. Bye-bye.